So this to me is the epitome of willpower. This takes a lot of restraint, and it takes a lot of trust and a lot of hot dogs to make this happen. My name's Jacob Crawford. I'm an animal whisperer, is what some people term it as. I talk about animal behavior, and I love to rehabilitate wild dogs. On the right, you'll see an alpha, and this is an upset wolf. On the left, you'll see was probably what's called an omega. Often, when the alpha gets upset, and maybe some of you can relate, the color gets sucked out of the room. The omega's role is to come in, swoop in, and start to cause a little bit of conflict resolution. Sometimes we butt heads. Sometimes we don't see eye to eye. In dog world, it's very dangerous for them because any conflict can lead to death. And so their ability to work together and to make actual resolution happen is the key to their symbiosis together. When they learn each other and they learn what each other need, they actually learn that they have each other's back, which makes the power of the pride available to them. And as Kipling once said, the power of the pack is the wolf, and the power of the wolf is the pack. These things go together, and they always work hard to keep each other working as a one unit. American Indians, such as the Lakota, the Blackfeet, the Cherokee, they have all gone out into nature as shamans with the burdens of their people to try to resolve what is going on in the interpersonal communication. Same as Romulus and Remus, the twins of Rome. Here's, in this situation, you can see where maybe that wisdom has dissolved a little bit and our connections become a little more tumultuous. I often meet people who simply just don't know what to do with the situation they're in. Often we have a sense of humor about our conflicts, and the internet's full of these memes of people trying to bring a softer side to pit bulls or trying to show the little bit of humor and cooperation in what goes on with us and the animals around us. To me, it's about humor, and it's about getting along. I think that our primitive nature, actually, we are an empathetic animal. If you give us something to take care of, or if there's something wounded, the typical statistics say that we end up helping out, we end up pitching in. A lot of times people have sort of a droll way of looking at society, but I often see people pitching in to help out each other. We make a riot of the place. I think it's that jester nature that's inside all of us that can sort of play with our surroundings and kid with each other and our ideas of what is acceptable and what isn't, that makes things a little more palatable, all the issues a little easier to resolve. And we end up spreading this into any of our behaviors. This is a popular meme called dog shaming, if you haven't heard of it. Yeah, I know. The best part about it, though, is it brings a little bit of levity, and sometimes we get a little too serious with the way that we have conflict. This is Keith Richardson. This guy, or Kevin Richardson, this guy's amazing, and he's in South Africa, and he ended up getting into animal behavior because he had a pack of cubs, and those cubs he ended up hand raising, and they ended up growing up to be gigantic lovers of him. He will not play with any animal that isn't his and that he hasn't raised because he doesn't know it, and that goes with Jane Goodall as well. Any of the chimps that she ends up working with or ones that she's interacted with and that know her, because any animal behaviorist will tell you that an animal's an animal, and inevitably a hungry dog will eat. So everyone has, in the animal behavior world, has a real focus on making symbiosis happen between them and the animal. And we see this all the time in nature. A lot of times people see conflict as them versus this, as predator versus prey. But all the time, nature shows us that we're completely wrong about this. A dog normally chases deer. This would be a prey animal and a predator. But the real key is that it starts at the founding levels. You never forget the kids that you grew up with in the neighborhood. It shows with all animals. If they grew up together, if they don't know that they're enemies, typically, when left together, they end up becoming a symbiotic unit. It starts when they're young. I've trained canines, and it always starts with fun games. Real simple, real easy, and they have a great time. And those small building blocks, just as how we raise our kids, end up making them into incredible units that can help out and do things. I've trained a few rescue dogs and a few helping dogs. And to me, that's what it's about, that face right there. Because at the end of the day, if you were trapped in an avalanche, you want a tenacious German Shepherd who absolutely his favorite thing is to find people. Look at his face. Does that say I'm unhappy about finding what's in the hole? To me, I think it's our connection to animals that we sort of overlook a lot of the times. There's tales all over the world of these amazing connections. There was a dog in Tokyo that when his owner didn't come home, still went every day until its death to the railroad station to see if he was going to come back. So I think it's these things that if you ever need a new experience, if you feel confined by the world and you want to break out of your shell, it's always safe to bank on nature. It's always easy to get out. It's always easy to enjoy some sunshine, a little bit of rain on the face. I say embrace it and keep observant to what's going on. To me, it's our friends. It's our ability to resolve conflict and work together. People always ask me, what's the best kind of dog to get? Because I know all the different breeds and I know all the different types. And to me, it's a rescue because they're eager to go home with you. So ultimately, my speech is about symbiosis and how it's possible through willpower and levity. If you have the ability to patiently work with somebody else and understand their perspective or their conflict, it'll make it easier for you to be able to make something happen out of that relationship. And for that, we'd all be better. Thank you.